So this is a rare video. I'm going to make a follow-up to a video I made about a month or so ago about Cinematic Mod. The Too Long Didn't Read version of that video was basically Cinematic Mod does not ruin Half-Life 2 because everything is optional and everything people complain about you won't even see unless you go out of your way to install it. Like all those porn models, by default that is not, those aren't installed. You will literally never see them unless you go out of your way to turn them on. And to turn them on you have to open a separate exe file to put them into the game. So it's a lot of complaining about optional things that just doesn't make any sense. And people hate the Cinematic Mod. I mean, they just absolutely hate this mod, and it's baffling to me. I posted my last video over to Reddit, and I got one of the comments, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the actual comment, but the comment said, "I used to trust you and I used to respect you, but I cannot believe you would have this opinion, and I just won't watch you anymore." People hate it that much. People are that close-minded and that fucking stupid about this. But there was one thing I didn't address that I want to talk about, and in typical YouTube fashion, I got a lot of comments that are just YouTube-worthy. Like, you know, I said this in that video. And when I say people hated this mod, I don't mean they just didn't like it and thought it was dumb and they just leave flame comments, you know, on YouTube, which they do. I guarantee you I've already gotten a few of them saying, why are you making a video on this shitty mod? You know, there's always those comments. And to no one's surprise, I got a ton of comments saying, why are you making a video about this shitty mod? Oh, you are original. I'm sure you thought you're the only one that did this. Delete comment. The title of this video was also called, Does Cinematic Mod Ruin Half-Life 2? And in typical YouTube fashion, I got comments that said nothing but yes and fully rendered. Because that totally contributes to the conversation, delete comment. But there were a few comments that I actually do want to reply to. One of the valid criticisms people have about Cinematic Mod is pornographic material on walls. Which makes sense, you don't really want that, but at the same time, when I was reading through comments, people made it sound like they were on every single wall. There is some pornographic graffiti in the game, but it's not very common. I don't know if it was more common in the earlier builds, but in the latest build, you don't see it every other wall like people would lead you to believe. Like, in general, you're not just going to see giant porn right in your face on one of the walls. It exists, but usually it's like in some shed, or in some barn, or in some room, in some corner, and it's not every other wall. On top of this, there's also mods to remove them out of the mod, which is mod on mod. It's amusing, but you can get rid of them if you want, but it does require you to go out of your way, so that is a valid complaint people have. And when I say pornographic graffiti, I don't mean just like pictures of literal porn on walls. I mean graffiti. The closest thing to just literal porn on walls are just like single posters of women, but they're not just straight up porn. You know what I mean. Another very common comment I got, and this is just kind of part of the echo chamber that is the internet, where people hear one thing and they repeat it and say the mod sucks because of this one thing, is a certain dildo in Alex's room in Black Mesa East. This doesn't really make sense to me because I don't care that it exists. Like, it could be gone, it could be there, it does not affect me in any way. You can not like that it's there, but this doesn't change the combat of the mod, this doesn't change the graphics of the mod. You're not going to play the last 3 hours of the game, come to this point, see that, and go, wow, I hate this mod, everything else doesn't matter anymore because this ruins everything. It's one small detail that is kind of dumb in one part of the game. This doesn't ruin the whole mod. It seems like one of those things where people want to complain and want to hate something because they also heard someone else hating it on the internet, so let's echo chamber the same thing everyone's saying over and over again, even if you haven't played the mod. Like, after a certain point, once you hear these complaints, you tune them out. Like, when your complaint ends up being in the exact same words as the other complaints, it becomes obvious that people are repeating each other and not really trying to think things through. But the last thing, and really the main thing I wanted to talk about in this video, because I somehow forgot to talk about this in the last video, even though I did plan to, and that's the very common comment of, Cinematic Mod destroys the atmosphere of Half-Life 2. I don't understand this complaint, because it's a mod. I don't care. I do not care at all that it changes things in Half-Life 2. That's the point of a mod. It's not like Valve is going, alright, we're pushing out an official patch, and now Cinematic Mod is lore, official canon, Half-Life 2, you all have to accept it. No, none of that bullshit happened. It is literally just a mod. You don't even have to install it if you don't like this. Who the fuck cares if it destroys the atmosphere of Half-Life 2? Like, this was the whole point of it. A different take on Half-Life 2. That's the point of mods, to get something different, not to have the same game. So the most common complaint is one I don't understand, mainly because it's something I don't want. I don't want to just play Half-Life 2 again, that's why I installed a mod. Like, if you want just an updated version of Half-Life 2 that doesn't really change anything, go play Half-Life 2 Update. It has some better lighting, and I can't really see much else, but it's better than the base game, even though it's the same thing. That's what you want, right? then play that. Or perhaps wait for M-Mod to come out, which looks pretty awesome. He also made an M-Mod version of the original Fear. So there's a quick plug to those mods. They're pretty cool. I can definitely recommend the M-Mod version of Fear. Pretty awesome mod. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about because there are incredibly common comments that I either don't agree with, I do agree with a twist, or I just don't get the point of. Thanks to all you guys for watching. Thank you all of you guys over on my Patreon. Without you guys, I definitely wouldn't be able to do this. And thanks to all you people that donate in all the different places that I am. I'm on Twitch. I'm obviously here on YouTube. I do have a Gawkbox. You can see all that on the screen. So if you want to contribute or join the community, feel free to do so. I also have a Discord. Check down below in the video information, and I will see you guys either over on my Twitch or in my next video.